Now, the whole issue of relationships, like what is it that makes a relationship good? This is a preoccupation by psychologists, by people. We're even told in our culture that the secret to a happy life is happy human relationships. Uh, as if as if happiness is going to come from a certain association with some special person or something like that. Now, it may surprise you to know that what determines the quality of your relationships and how good they are is an understanding of what Vedanta calls Dharma. Now, Dharma, living a life of Dharma and committed to that living. Now, what it basically means is that in relation to people, whether it's with a spouse, with your children, with your bosses, with whoever, your workmates, we always stand in relation to other people. And what's important is what is going to determine how I'm going to be related to others. Now, if my relationship with others is simply based on my desires and aversions, all I can look forward to is the ups and downs, friction, antagonism, upset, and all of that sort of stuff. Because you see, if the basis of my life or my relationship with other people is what I like and what I dislike, when they do things that when other people do things in relation to me that I like, I'll be just happy and I'll be going, oh, I like these people. This is fantastic. And I will actually, because I'm happy with them, I'll be friendly to them and my actions won't be particularly harmful. However, when people do things that I don't like, I will feel the frustration and desire. If the basis of my relationship to other people is on the basis of desires and aversions, what's going to happen is if they do things I don't like, I will retaliate in various forms. I won't be able to help myself. That's just simply how it works. And when I retaliate, because the experiences they have hurt me, I will feel right in retaliating. They will deserve my retaliation. So when your children do things that you don't like, or your spouse does something you don't like, you will speak to them in unkind ways. And you'll have this rather strange notion, which we often suffer from. You are upsetting me, therefore you're responsible for my upset, and you're also responsible for how I'm acting in relation to you. I'm being mean now because of what you've done, and if you had changed, this wouldn't be happening. Now, this, of course, is complete nonsense. However, we do get into a state of mind where we feel we are right, even when we act in a harmful way. Now, what I mean by a harmful way, when you act in any way to another human being that makes the situation worse, that is harmful, for whatever reason, it never works. It might feel right inside doing it, but it never works. Now, when we're talking about Dharma, we're talking about an understanding that when we make our actions conform to what we ourselves see would be the best thing to do. Now, in terms of our desires and aversions, when people do things we like, we go, oh, yes, I like that. That's very nice. When they do things we don't like, no, I don't like that. And when they determine our responses, it has nothing to do with our idea of what's right and wrong. It's just simply emotional reactivity and, generally speaking, harmful actions that come from it. But when we are committed to living a life of Dharma, the desires and aversions are not going to determine how we act. People's actions are not going to determine how we act. What's going to determine our actions or how we act in relation to other people is our sense of what would be the most beneficially responsive thing to do here. And this is in accordance with our discrimination. Because we're endowed with awareness, we can discriminate what would be truly helpful and what wouldn't be. In other words, what would be right for this given situation as opposed to wrong. And so what happens is when someone does something we don't like, we won't be reacting from our desires and aversions, which is normal. What we will do is we will be responding from our understanding of what is right and wrong. And in that way, we're not like a billiard ball. You see, when the billiard ball philosophy is someone does something we don't like, we then react and we blame them for our reaction. And we often act badly. When we're angry or frustrated, we say harmful things, we say unkind things, we talk in a terse way to our children, we might sometimes shout at them, we might say some cruel things or whatever, which feels completely right in terms of our desires and aversions, but as an aware and discriminating, responsive individual, which we need to be if we're to live in harmony with life practically, our responses are determined by what the situation requires and what will be the best thing to do. So the basis for action is either going to be my emotional reactivity based on my desires and aversions, or beneficial responsiveness based on my awareness of the situation and my discrimination as to what is right and what is wrong. And so when we all interpersonal conflicts, it doesn't matter how much what someone says. If we blame them and then we act from that blame, we will act in harmful ways. But if we really understand that in order for me to have a relationship to life that is peaceful, without friction, it's harmonious and it's beneficial to the people around me, the only way I can do that is by living a life of Dharma. And if I can find a relation to other people, discover a relation where I gracefully accept that human beings do what they do, I have absolutely no control over what they do, but I have got total control over the relation that I adopt towards people. People who are doing things that I like, people who are doing things I don't like. The relation is going to be the same. It's going to be one of graceful acceptance and beneficial responsiveness, because that graceful acceptance and beneficial responsiveness makes my actions line up to what I truly know and have discriminated for myself what would be the best thing to do. And when I start living a life of Dharma in my relationships with other people, what happens is a lot of the stupid actions that we engage in all the time cease to exist for us. So that doesn't mean to say that other people may still do things that we don't like. They may even do very unfair things that we don't like. But we will not be disturbed within ourselves about what they're doing. We may not like it, but we will not simply react blindly and harmfully. We ourselves will remain in harmony with the situation and respond as best we can and accept what is occurring without resistance and without regret.